and then from this you get that, which is really cool, I think.
What would you
so
say
cool.
in terms of like creating the earrings? What would you say is the hardest part for you? Like even in terms of either designing it or even choosing a design, choosing a color,
I think
size of the earring.
yeah, the designing is something that you love to do, but it could also, because it is your job, creative blocks do happen, you know.
Yes.
Very, very, like, so easily. Like there are days where I'm like so inspired and I'm like chomping at the bit, and I have like so many ideas. I'm one of those that like right before I go to sleep, my brain is on fire.
Right.
And I'm just like, you know,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, okay, like no, and then I'm the worst at this. I'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna remember it tomorrow. I'm gonna remember. Like I don't write anything down. I'm like, no. Like that's a great idea. I'll remember to do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow I'm like, what the hell was that idea?
I know, and then it's gone.
It's
like
gone.
I know I had it, and I'm just like, oh, that was brilliant. Like I gotta try that. So there is that, the creative block of things. Because it is a business, you want to constantly be creating. And sometimes when you're constantly creating, it takes a little bit of the sparkle out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because at that point you're trying to produce, and then you're just kind of like, oh, I don't love this, but I'm going to try to do it anyway. You know what I mean? And
Right.
I try to not do that so much, because then you're selling something that you're not proud of, or
Right.
you're trying to sell, you're pushing something that, and people can tell.
Right.
I think the biggest compliment that I've gotten throughout all of this is that people will tell me like, it looks like you really love what you're doing.
Yeah.
And
oh, wow. Yeah.
I never want to lose that.
Yeah.
The when I lose that, then I know that like maybe it's time to move on, you know?
Right.
But I don't think I will. I really do love what I do. I love that it shows. But it is something that you have to be like aware of. So there are ups and downs in designing, which as much as you love to do it, it does become a job, you know?
I think that's like what's challenging about jewelry or making jewelry, is because I think a lot of people go into it. I had an Etsy shop a while back that
Back
made
in
jewelry.
the day, okay, like
Back in the
2015 or something.
Yes.
Early Etsy.
Early days.
Early Etsy. It was called Root Essence. So I can connect a lot with what you're saying too, because I remember at the time I
She
knew
used to
other
make
people
she used to make like body chains, and like little,
necklaces and bracelets.
like quartz,
love
not
that.
quartz, but whatever, mineral bracelets. Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember like I was first inspired by other people doing it, and at the time I was like, I don't want to copy people, or you know what I mean? Like you do have that like imposter syndrome thing where you're just like, what will make mine different, or like you know what I mean? And I kind of think it's just us being artists where we're like, we judge it in that sense.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
I guess I do view it as like you're just inspired by other people, and like
Yeah.
from that I feel like other people have been inspired from me, and I'm sure people are inspired from your shop. So it's good to just get more creative people out of their box, I guess.
Of course.
But yeah, I remember at the time I loved designing everything, every piece, every thought I had, every idea. I would like draw out the design and like plan and purchase all the different things that I needed to create it. But then I got to a point where it's like I was just stringing beads on a string.
Like
And
she
my
would get
back
orders
hurt.
and then, like, the
I was
whole
like-
night she's just like,
And then I was like, this isn't fun anymore. Like it took it, you know what I mean? So I think it's a hard thing to balance, especially with making jewelry. And I guess also with Kat, with like creating things through paper and stuff, like different mediums, because it's also very like detail oriented, and there's just so many different things that take a lot of different energies.
Absolutely. No, you
So it's
nailed it
hard
on
to
the
balance.
head with imposter syndrome. That is something that it goes through my head all the time when I'm like I'm just like who am I? You know, like what is Noni Clay? Like you put so much like heart into it, so much love into it. But that like I love RuPaul, and he always says like there's like an inner saboteur in all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that person in the back of your head, and it's you are your worst critic always, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're always saying like, oh, are people even gonna buy this? Like, are people even gonna want to wear this? I love it, you know what I mean? But like what I love might not be what you love. And then it's just like, but you kick that voice out of your head, girl, because at the end of the day, it's you're like, nobody can be like as mean as you are to yourself.
right.
Yes.
And you know, so like it's one of those things where I'm just like always talking myself out of it so that I can talk myself up, you know?
Yes. And I think as a small business owner, you have to just keep going and stay positive and like find ways to motivate yourself. But
And you won't be a success the first day, you know?
Right.
Not even the 100th day, maybe. But
yeah, you gotta keep going.
I also think like sometimes you think maybe, oh, my style isn't unique enough, or this isn't different enough, and maybe let's say you look at your first pair of earrings and you're like, oh, this is cool, but is it like Claudia, you know? And but now I think now that you have so many, and even when you had Rudescence, Sasha, when you look back and you look at the whole page of the variety, you're like, oh, that is a style. Like that is that is that person.
Right.
So,
it matches the person behind it.
Like
and then you start to give yourself credit.
You're right.
You know,
you're
then you're just like, this is a collection. This is, you know, like a brand. This is like, you know, it's the dream becomes a reality in that sense.
And it's because you followed what you wanted to do. Like you followed your vision. Yeah.
Can I just say,
which is the toughest part.
Yeah.
You know, because I have a bunch of people that like will ask me like,